Dun, dun, da, 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 dun, dun, da, da, da. And welcome to our latest Dining and Doodles broadcast. Uh, as always, I am Embry Arts, aka Brittany Dutson, and I'm pleased to bring you a new live stream. Friday viewers, some on Facebook and on Twitch may have noted there was no game stream. Well, there was. Unfortunately, we were having technical difficulties with those two platforms, so we weren't able to get out on them. So if you actually go to YouTube, the stream is there on our YouTube page. And another thing of note to note today is also we had a issue that I was trying to put together with the live stream for the next gaming stream to get Valheim going. Unfortunately, that is not going to go through because of just technical difficulties. If I had a more powerful system, then maybe, but right now we don't. So I will figure something out for game stream for Monday. Until then, let's get on to the stream for tonight. And, well, that's Demon Blade. Actually, let me shut that and close that there, or switch that out. All right, this is our stream request. Now, this was originally a request that was put in through our upcoming Drawtober requests. Starting basically Friday, I'm going to be doing and releasing one new drawing each day of a character. Unfortunately, this one, because of what they were asking for, didn't quite meet the criteria there, so we're doing it here. So their request was to draw their OC Carmen ripping up and eating a cookie factory as a 500-foot tall girl. And this was put in, let me get the name of the requester here. Well, crap, I need to get the posts here. Let's go. And come on, load. Well, there it is. Okay, Drawtober submissions. Just waiting on it to load. Now that's Dining and Doodles and more. No, I don't want that. I want Drawtober. Come on. Come on, Drawtober. Bring it up. There we go. That's not it either. Why am I getting the wrong thing come up each time? There we go. All right. This request was, let's go down. I'm going to have to load some. Okay, actually, here it is. Ocean Railroad. Yeah, Ocean Railroader on DeviantArt made this request for their character. They noted a few things down here. The character is originally a tour guide from a Mexican resort or a fictional country resort with Mayan-like temples in it. And she's actually accidentally comes across a hidden room with a 100-foot tall skeleton with a slime in it. It causes her and another girl named Talil to grow to 500 feet tall. I think we're still putting her in, but she's not going to be doing, of course, she's not going to be seen as 500 feet tall, because I can't really, for those to be or regular and not weigh me down on work, I'm just going to be drawing the characters. I'm not going to be drawing background scenes for them. So here on the stream, this is going to be one that is going to require background stream. So I've already went ahead, did a sketch of the character. So we have an idea of where we're going to go. And I did it kind of a thick line today because I kind of wanted to emphasize where I was going to go with this. And we have the character represented up here in the top. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the text there. And we're going to start with her eyes. And we're just going to, well, let's do a little bit of a thicker line here. Not too much more. The reason I want to do a thicker line on the girl more so than the background. The background, I'm actually going to do something like I said before. Most of the time, you do not want to switch line width. One of the tricks you do, and I did it a bit today when I was working on a commission that got released. When you do background art, you'll do it with color instead of black lines. That way it fades a little bit more. But in this case, we also want to do it with thinner lines. So we want her to be in thicker lines because she's a bigger, bolder character. So we have more things. And Cooking Dojo, hey Brittany, how's everything? I like the drawing so far. Thank you. Love to hear back from people. I'm glad to hear it. And of course, Cooking Dojo, great channel to go check out. I do a lot of art for him as well, particularly commissions. And I think we've got a couple. I've got 2 that I'm going to be doing. I know he's got one that's going to be coming out next month. But I think he's got a couple others coming out in the next few weeks that I put together. Now, I decided I want her munching because it's easier when you're doing a single panel of a character and you want to draw them out kind of like this. You need to kind of get an idea of where you want them to be. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and draw her face, and then we'll add the building in as sort of a foreground. And I tried to get the factory to look like a cookie, but at the same time I put a giant cookie on it. I started to do an Oreo in case people were wondering, but I decided no, we'll go with the generic chocolate chip. Not that I don't like Oreos, I love them. I in fact have a very weak-willed nature against Oreos. There are some flavors I don't like of their mixtures of Oreos. Thank you. Yes, I do have some other videos coming out. They will be on Kavanaugh's Corner. Okay, so some of the videos that Cooking Dojo will be doing is going to be on Kavanaugh's Corner. So absolutely go check out his work. I know this Monday we have another anime stream with Septum Sen versus the World. We are covering Those Who Hunt Elves, a 90s anime that is hard to get streaming. It is a very, very interesting anime. It is one of ADV's, I'd like to say more notorious ones, but I'm going to save what I have to say about it for Monday. It is definitely one, and I've still got to finish the series. I've seen it before, I'll say that much. It is one that the eye is way off. I mean, part of me liked in the past. I still kind of like it. I'm not gonna, come in and rag on it. And I have to give a nod out to, of course, a person I've met through cons and continue to meet, Jessica Calvuto, who is in the series' first season. She, of course, does a couple other voice roles. In fact, one anime I started watching today, she is, I think, the only notable female, the only named female character in the series, but she was also Zoe Henge in Attack on Titan. Uh, Great voice actress, but sort of a legend in the series. She was Excel in Excel Saga. Her voice is recognizable, so I mean, you will recognize it. It's one that you can remember. But yeah, I mean, she was in the series, so I will definitely talk a little bit about how I've met her and known her over the years. But yeah, and I it's a series that definitely will have some interesting talk. I am curious what the other people have to say. Um, and I mean, I'd like to say I know why it's not on streaming these days, but there's far worse out there. It would definitely get canceled these days. I'd say that much. More than likely, the way it acts. But then, I mean, at the same time, I watched a nice little video the other, was it today or was it yesterday? Uh, about what people declare is hood anime. And for me, I never understood the concept of hood anime. I mean, anime is anime. Um, but then I'm not from the hood. And I I perfectly understand what the person was going on about. It's like they basically were saying how anime appealed to a lot of people in urban sprawls, urban environments because of it was cheap. Now, given I come from the days of anime when I was paying $30 for 2 episodes on VHS, so it wasn't cheap in the past, but it is cheap now. It's very easy to get, very easy to read manga, very easy um, to read even light novels. And on that note, check out our live streams on Thursdays. We are now doing live reads. I have a book or a story request from somebody to do for our live stream on this week on Thursday, and it's at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm actually doing that an hour earlier on Thursdays. We kind of competed last week on against with Nintendo, so it kind of really wasn't the best timing. Um, and then there's mixed opinions of the Nintendo stream anyway out there, with the notable concept of Mario now being Chris Pratt. And I understand them wanting to go with Hollywood actors and actresses, but I mean, I feel sorry for some of the voice actors. I know they do have what is it? It's Charles. I forget his last name. The original voice of Mario is going to be in the movie, but they don't say what. Um, but I mean, it kind of feels like a bit of a letdown there. And I just, until I hear Chris Pratt say "Mamma Mia" or "It's a me, Mario," I don't hear it. I kind of hear Charlie Day as Luigi, but I just don't hear Chris Pratt. But I mean, I'll hold it to it. It could be good, could be just another disaster. And I mean, I hold it to pretty much any series. Cooking JoJo. I'm really surprised they didn't go with Charles. Okay, this is Charles Martinet. Okay. And not do that voice casting bothers me. It seems odd. It is odd. I mean, Jack Black as Bowser, I kind of I kind of see, and he has the voicing credits. Uh, else is in it? Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Yeah. Um, I kind of see that. Fred Arston as Cranky Kong. I'm like, why is Cranky in a Mario movie? I have no idea. But well, I do know. I do know. The answer is Universal Studios, because they've got the theme park ride coming when they open the studios here in Florida next year. Um, that they'll have the Donkey Kong roller coaster, which still bothers me that they don't have anything Zelda planned for the Super Mario World or for the Super Nintendo World. I mean, it's Zelda's the biggest selling game outside of Mario for Nintendo, and you don't do anything for Zelda. You don't do anything for Metroid. Um, you don't do anything for Star Fox or any. I mean, even Kirby. Even Kirby could fit in with Mario World, um, easily. I mean, you just have to do a little bit of redecoration. I guess they're gonna do it for the future things, but yeah, I am interested to see what they would do with Zelda in there. I hear good things though about the Mario Land in Japan. I've seen people interact with it and they enjoy it. It's a fun experience, and I hear Universal's a great place. I've never been there, um, but yeah, I don't even know the female playing Peach. I know she's in Queen's Gambit, but I have not watched Queen's Gambit. Uh, it's I mean, I'd love to see what goes on from it. And I mean, everybody kind of dissed the Pokemon movie, the Detective Pikachu movie, and it was decent. I mean, I for one would have preferred, in that crowd of preferring to hear Danny DeVito play Pikachu just once, but that's just out of humor. Ryan Reynolds did play a good Pikachu in that sense, considering what the story was. I know they're coming out with a sequel to it. I have no idea why, or I mean, what will they'll explain, or how they'll explain Ryan Reynolds playing the character again. Um, I mean, they could go the goofy route and just be like, oh well, I just always any Pikachu sounds like me. It's like whenever they are translated, something like that. I don't know. They'll think of something. It's Hollywood. They'll think of something, and a lot of people will be upset. Do I have hopes for the Netflix stuff coming out? Like the One Piece, and also like, uh, damn it, Cowboy Bebop. Now, Cowboy Bebop's coming out in a month, from probably today, I think. That, or it's mid October or November. Um, I know it's going to be late October, mid November, somewhere around there. And I have mixed feelings about the Cowboy Bebop. I kind of was in the camp that I felt that it could be a good thing, coming down the line. That it was, if out of all the series, that would be one that Hollywood could easily make. Because they're also talking about doing Akira, and I have less faith for Akira than I do for Cowboy Bebop. Um, One Piece, I had faith for a little bit, and I kind of was in the bandwagon to suggest Netflix pick it up, because it was a rumored thing for probably 4 or 5 years now, um, to come out. And just now they haven't even done the casting, from what I understand. They may have, but they've been silent. And I I'm not going to say they need to whitewash things. My issue tends to be with, yeah, some of the script writers have come out and tried to make it something that One Piece is not, um, or at least sounds like something they're going to try and make it something One Piece is not. And then you also have Netflix's own people getting involved, and I worry about that, because this is it's a story that needs to be told properly if it's going to be told. I feel, and I think that's kind of why Oda's not allowed it to happen beforehand. But I do have reservations as to what I've heard. One of the things being that they're politicizing it. And if you have your own opinions of who's what in One Piece, that's fine. But ultimately, when you look down to it, Luffy's goal is to be the freest man in the world. That is what the King of Pirates is to him. He flat out says it in the series. So when you have somebody who promotes and pushes somebody who worships government, it kind of goes against Luffy's character. Especially when he's up against the world government in the series. So I really disliked that concept of that person and that they're going forward, because that contradicts the character. And I mean, all to each person what they get to come through of things from wherever they get it. One person's interpretation is going to be different from another. That's true, but when you're doing a series, an original creation, or of a creator, I always prefer that people stick with what was created, um, because it's the creator's intent. When you go and edit things, especially when you rewrite dubbing, going back to the voice actors and whatnot, when you edit out scenes or do things horribly, especially like One Piece got treated with 4Kids, you lose context of the greater meaning. Especially 4Kids, you lost a lot of context. And if you even, I know there's the concept of, oh, well, this person has a gun. It's less than the person with a gun than the greater meanings of things. And I find it odd. I do find it especially odd because I'm also been watching some of the anime coming on Netflix as of late. Eden Zero, I've watched, and I find it better, than my opinion, than Fairy Tail. I'm not a big fan of how Fairy Tail ended. I felt it kind of just was crap. Towards the end, they kind of pushed the story in a route that was very predictable. But with characters and developments of that series versus another anime. Oh, let's see, what Cooking Dojo again. Did you ever watch Red Bard's video on 4Kids taking on One Piece? Turns out 4Kids just saw it making money in Japan, so they bought the rights to the dub. Yeah, and that's also why Toei now has it in mind that they have to get approved. Everybody has to go through approval, including for voice actor choices with them now. It's because of what 4Kids did. 4Kids wanted to make money. They spent the money. Toei was like, okay, we had bad time. Dick did an okay time with Sailor Moon, but they still kind of chopped it up. But once they saw 4Kids' treatment of One Piece, they were like, no. From this point on, this is the way you have to get an approval of us on works. So yeah, Toei has a lot of pull, especially on One Piece with Funimation. So the reason why it takes forever for Funimation to announce contracts of new seasons of One Piece, even though they've gotten so far in the series, it's because they have to get Toei's approval on a lot of stuff. And in some cases, Oda's approval. Oda might himself be like, no, I want to hand select this actor to play this role. I think that's especially the case with the crew of the Straw Hats. I know he's come out and hand chose people for the role. I think at least in the Japanese dub. Well, I mean, at least in the Japanese dub, if not the English dub as well. Maybe another language dub. I don't know how many languages Oda himself speaks. That was a bad mark right there. Scroll on down. All right. Now the building here, we're going to use some line tools here to help do the building in our hand. Just want to sort of bring that on up. And over. Let's see here. So let me think if there's any other real news that I know of in the anime community or of other note that I want to talk about. I know DC and Marvel have been having a lot of difficulties. Diamond is probably on the way out, which is a publishing company, and I'm kind of glad. They've kind of run the market of modern American comics for publication. It's if you had a comic company, both Marvel and DC went through them for the longest time. You had to go through Diamond pretty much. There was no choice, and there was really no competition. So now that Diamond has kind of been getting the shaft from Marvel and DC, it's kind of opening up the market for new comics. So you're going to see probably in the next few years, it's not going to be this year, it's going to be mostly in the next few years. You're going to start to see a larger independent market because publishers are going to look to fill that void a bit. Comics aren't going to flat out die. It's just going to be Marvel and DC will probably be made into pretty much just franchises as they are. Some of the bigger names may go out and be done in other comics, but it's likely you're going to see stuff like smaller titles go the way of or go out the door because it's likely they're not going to be able to fund them anymore. And companies like Marvel and DC will pretty much be movie studios, animation studios, um, print studios for marketing material. That's about it. They're not going to be really doing as much anymore. And it's partially the way that people have played out the comic industry as of late. Um, I know after the 90s, I kind of got out of it. I try to get back into the comics every now and then and would read them, but it's like a lot of it is just boring or really bad. Um, it's one of the things I kind of made fun of it in a copy of Magic Princess War, where I stated in a filler episode that you have Marvel Science. And Marvel Science is we're going to make up some wacky BS crap that's not actual science, but make it sound like science. So, and that is how Marvel wrote a lot of its stories. In the 2000s, it's like, well, let's just explain it with some fake science. And I mean, I didn't need to know more than genetic evolution for mutants. But of course, they wanted to go through and give us more details, more information in the world. And I mean, I can't say I don't like it. I think a lot of these characters, like Superman, Spider-Man, will be around for many years to come, even after we're both gone. But yeah, comics are probably are not as big as they once are. Well, I mean, they're going to be sold off as properties, is what's going to happen. They're going to be capped on likely, but I mean, you're talking their sales are used to be in the millions. They're now in sales are in if they're lucky getting 100,000 per issue, if they're lucky, and that's usually the big guys. The smaller ones are lucky to get 1,000 out these days. And it's when you're spending a lot of money on a comic and your story doesn't match from issue to issue, or it's troublesome, that's where it's going to hurt. And Marvel and DC are seeing that, and Disney's already sort of giving it away to other companies to take over. Well, manga is outselling comics. Yes, manga is outselling comics. And there's the key difference. Manga is a intellectual property. So the creator, especially like One Piece, Oda owns that, not Shonen Jump in whole. So Oda makes the final say. But the editor can still be like, well, we want to do some certain changes if you do this. Now, you don't say that to Oda. You say that to maybe some smaller guys, but you don't say that to Oda. Shonen Shonen knows not to piss off them. But yeah, I mean, you have issues of Demon Slayer beating out comics in the long run for the last 2 years. You have My Hero having beat out comics as well. One Piece has been beating out for ungodly years and is about to surpass Batman and maybe Superman in overall sales in a lifetime. So I mean that's hard to swallow that comics is going to keep doing well. At least the American comic book industry. I'd love to see it. I'd love to be part of it. But I mean, I resigned a long time ago not to be part of an industry that isn't creator friendly. And Marvel and DC have never really been creator friendly since the 70s, I would almost say. If you're a bigger name, then maybe. But even then, I mean, there's a reason why Image came on the scene. There's a reason why people like like McFarlane is just doing better as an indie comic artist than he was as a Spider-Man artist. And that's not to say he didn't love doing Spider-Man. It's just the editors and the company ran that system down so much. And when you had stories like One More Day, which just absolutely kind of destroyed Spider-Man, but was an editing decision. And that absolutely destroys it. I always said that Marvel or DC wanted to buy the rights of my stuff, never sell. I wanted, yeah, you to be in control. That's one of the key things. When I came out of college, I was all prepared to jump into a comic industry. Um, and I came to learn over the experience that a lot of people in the industry were trying to get out. And I found out why. And a lot of it is over creator control. And that's where manga definitely outshines. And indie comics. I mean, you have your comics like Walking Dead, you have your comics like Scott Pilgrim. They both came out of indie comics. Ninja Turtles, another one, came out of indie comics. Now, mind you, Eastman and Laird, I don't think they've picked up a comic book project in a couple years. They've mainly been getting the rights and royalties out of their project, and they sold their property when they did. And I mean, nowadays they make money off of it. Let's see here. We're going to try and do a smokestack back here. Just do. I think Eastman's working on the last run. He might be. I mean, I've not kept track too much of the American comic artists and what they're doing, but I have heard one of them has pretty much not worked, and I think it might be Laird. I think it might be Laird. But I mean, given an original copy of issue 1 of Ninja Turtles is like millions of dollars worth, and that's almost in any condition because it is so rare. Because it's, I think they said only 60 maybe last. They were all the printed copy, printed off a copier at like some sort of copy place or something. I think they said 7-Eleven, to be honest. So I mean, it's hard to come by, and let's see. I want to see a bit more of her details, or we need to do her lips. That's one of the things I'm missing. Whoa. All right. Kind of sweating now. I've been wearing heavy clothes because it's been kind of cold here as of late in the evenings. And my thin blood does not like the cold. Let's see here. Trying to think if there's anything entertainment wise I'm looking forward to. I am looking forward to Komi Can't Communicate coming out on streaming. I know Netflix has got the rights to it. They're doing it a weekly release in Japan. I don't know if they're doing a weekly release here in the States. I'd love to see it. I've been slowly reading through that, as I've also been reading through Konosuba. which is also on the vote for the story times on Thursdays to read Konosuba. And I think it's actually in the lead right now for the voting on DeviantArt. So I probably am going to be reading some Konosuba in the future. I will say those are far longer than our last stream. Because our last stream, even though my own series is longer in later parts, it was short. So I mean, we were able to get through 2 episodes or 2 issues in about half an hour of reading out loud. So we will see if we can do the same with Konosuba, which I think chapter 1 of book 1 is something like 40 pages, 50 pages. It's got a nice chunk, but it's entertaining, and I am looking forward to that series coming back. I also want to see Shield Hero when that comes back, but that won't be back until next year. And I think Konosuba might be back in the spring. Maybe it'll be the spring or summer. And they usually, I heard someone properly state if they announce something, usually they give it 6 months from when they announce that they're doing an anime. For its release, even though it takes about a year to 2 to draw and write at times. And I've got the books all the way up to where the series will pick up, I believe. So let's do. This is going to be a water tower right here. So let's do this. Normally I would spend time on the backgrounds separately. I am doing this on a different layer, though, if you hadn't watched. It's very important to make sure your background is on a different layer than your characters. The only difference was of course, doing the factory building since she is eating it. I could have done that on a different layer, but I'm going to be putting it on the same layer is probably better for me to deal with the art part. And of course, Drawtober starts on Friday. I will probably show a little bit of that here on some special streams of Dining and Doodles, but not all of them. There is a theme, an overall theme, and I do have 30 characters chosen for each day, excluding the final day. The final day, I have chosen something personally. It's not one of my own characters, but it is a character I chose for the series. Just checking real quick. Just checking my notifications real quick, seeing what was coming on, because there's getting some comments popping up on certain things, but nothing a big to do. Game wise, I mean, like I said, we've been playing Stardew. We'll still play Stardew on Wednesdays next week, and probably for a couple Wednesdays until we get completely tired of it. I tried Valheim today to try and get it to work for the stream. It was not. Unfortunately, it's very buggy. but then it is still in development. So the one benefit of that was I would be able to put the Vroid in, but right now that is probably not going to happen. So what I'm going to probably do in its place, I have a few other games that are possibilities. But I will play a more modern game. I think Monday. We'll probably do something like Fallout, one of the Fallout games. Probably 4. Or maybe GTA 5. And so this is just sort of the whole from the factory. So we're just going to do that here. When doing sort of a rocky terrain or dug in out terrain, you kind of just want this sort of rough pattern. So you do like this, and then if you want to add like a rock here, and something like that there. Just gives a sense of downward depth doing that. And then in the background here, I kind of want to do some other stuff. So I'm actually going to do that on the layer below. So we've got, this is the layer for the character. This is our foreground layer, which if I zoom out, I can show linking out. And then we've got our background layer, which is untouched right now. And then we've got our sketch layers. I've got 2 different ones, one where I did a rough sketch, one where I did a more solid sketch. And while this is a quick drawing, this is more of a doodle, I'm still following the rules as basic of for perspective. So when we go into this background area, I'm still going to be following perspective rules. So the lines I'm going to be working with, for those who want to know, and I'll do this on a separate layer here, and I'll do it in a big fat color line. This is my perspective point. Now, I didn't put in perspective the factory because I wanted her to hold it. But my point going outward is going to be somewhere along here. So it'd be this here to that there. So, I mean, we're kind of in the right area. We're kind of a little off, but that is fine. We're going to be doing the same up here. So, I mean, these, with this perspective being down here, anything that goes above this line is going to be looked upward at. So anything above, anything below, we look downward at. So these are downward, these are going to be upward. So I mean, it's just a basic little principle that art teaches us. That we can do the simplest of looks. So I mean, we're just going to do a box, down a little bit. I'm going to have a building squished in between these two. So we're going to have another building right here. And because it's below, it's getting a rooftop. I'm I'm going to give it a little bit of a staircase up here to give it some variety. Bring that line back down. Then we're going to have this sort of odd shaped building. So we've got it going out. It looks like a billboard or a sign or something right here. Do it more rectangular here. And we'll give a little hint to the building going down. And I am going to finish the building off down below. But at the same time, we want to sort of establish, let's see here. That actually should go down lower. There we go. We want to sort of establish where the building bottom is on here, simply to, I think we're going to do an alleyway. So it's going to come back out. And I'm just going to close these off so we have where the color will come out, it won't leak later. So there's nothing, I mean, we can hide it behind the character. It's not that big of a deal. We might do more buildings back there, but we're going to just keep doing some buildings over in this end. I'm just going to do a giant billboard over here. So I wanted to zoom in. Kind of a odd setup area of town, I guess, to do this drawing, because you wouldn't really have a factory in a major population because of just, it would be disturbing. Those smaller towns maybe, but not in like a city. And we're kind of doing a city background here. But, I mean, it's cartoony. We have a 500-foot woman eating a cookie factory. What can we say? I think going right about here. New anime. Let's see. Oh, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about some new anime I've been watching. Gosh, I'm actually gonna have to pull up my phone to see which ones I've been watching. Let's see here. The one I was talking about earlier today, it's finally getting its dub on Funimation. It is called Life Lessons of Umue. Let's see, where is it? Let me get the proper title here because I'm missing it. Excuse me. Umurachi Onisan. Life Lessons of Umurachi Onisan. So it's a humorous, dark series. Definitely if you're an adult. Another series I've started watching is off of, not on Funimation, but on Crunchyroll. And since they're switching over to Crunchyroll, switching over to Funimation, I don't know if it'll day, but Remake Our Life. I'm watching. Another one that kind of hits me hard because it's about an artist or wanting to go back in life, and he does. I did start Welcome to Demon School Makun, simply because people keep pestering me to watch it, so I'm watching it. Um, and I do have plans to watch Danganronpa on my list because people keep asking me to draw characters from there. So, what am I watching on? Oh yeah, I've been watching Kuroko's Basketball on Netflix and Sailor Moon Crystal on Netflix as well as Eden Zero. Um, I kind of given up on a few titles though this past year. I definitely given up on uh, Seven Deadly Sins. I just something about the season. I know there's been a season since I've watched it, uh, but I mean something about the last few seasons has just been kind of just grating on me. So I've just been kind of not interested in picking that series back up. Um, Maybe in the future I'll pick it back up in a sense, but yeah, ever since the whole angel and demon scenario has gone on with Meliodas and what's her name? Uh, I don't even remember the lead female's character's name. I just been like, it's not good. It's not good. Um, it was okay to a point, but I mean, once that started coming into play, I was just like, no, no. I'd much rather watch something else on Netflix or anime. Other viewing, cooking shows, honestly, and some ghost hunting shows now, because it is getting to be October. I will be watching ghost hunting shows because it's a junk food um, addiction. Cooking shows have been mainly stuff like Guys Grocery Games. I don't know why I'm addicted to that series. I just love the idea of having to run and get your groceries and cook them immediately. Um, for a panel of judges to basically tell you why you suck at this dish, which most of the times they actually do pretty well, um, far better than I can. I'm an okay cook. I'm not a professional cook, um, and I don't want to be one. I just want to cook at home. Um, in fact, tomorrow I'm going to be baking some. So well, I'll probably be enjoying some fresh bread at least, if not something else, because I do kind of want some sweets in the home. I'm just kind of giving a little bit of a front to these studio or to these buildings now. Something to give it a little unique look each. They just need to be things, and I'll start doing some coloring. We are an hour in, so we definitely want to get to the coloring end of things so we can conclude this not too much longer than our 2-hour usual limit. And other than that, I mean, I've not been doing much. I mean, maybe we'll do some Genshin Impact on the stream. I have my problems with it, Genshin. I do like it as far as a what a free play game should be. I just I think the rates are a bit too harsh for drop rates in that sometimes. Let's see here. We're just going to do sort of a factory window here. And then some big bay windows. Wait, is that on? No, that's right. That's on the right layer. That's still on the background layer because I can do that. Scaling wise, I'm sure I may be not doing this completely correct as to where 500 feet would be on her. It's 500 feet would be very, very big. As far as I know, compared to where this door would be huge in that sense. But I mean, the concept is there. I mean, I'm not gonna be big about needing to get the scale right. It's not gonna be like when I do in Demon Blade. I have the character Hachiko, which is the dog. And when Hachi grows large, he grows up to 30 feet in height. I specify 30 feet because I can draw 3 stories buildings, and he's that tall. And that's big enough to at least, catch a car, which was the humor of the dog. And hopefully the humor of the series. I've got one more brush I want to use in the background, but I'll do that in a minute. Let's get the character colored in at least going. Let's get her base skin tone. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Still on the wrong layer. That layer. There we go. We're just going to get her basics. I think her foot's not closed, so that's going to flow out. So let's do that leg. And I'm going to make her bottoms be equal to her top. So she's going to have the same color. Our theme going with her bottoms as her top. That way I can kind of get what she's doing. Let's also do teeth on her. I don't know why you would eat a giant cookie factory when you could just eat the cookies in the cookie factory. But hey, who am I to judge? Maybe she just can't get to the back packaging and she's just going to eat it all. Ironically, this is going to be the first of 2 giant sized requests. We actually have a second one next week. But that one's going to include 2 characters and not much of a background. I might do something for the background when it comes down to it, when we get to it next week. But we have at least, the concept is set up for 2 characters, 1 large, 1 small. So, but yeah, that's on the list next week. We've got submissions all the way through right now for Dining and Doodles until November. So if there's a request that somebody wants done on Dining and Doodles, a drawing, a character, anything in particular that they want, you just have to comment, leave a comment, like, comment, and subscribe is for always for any video. But I mean, it's just that simple. Just leave a comment, either here in the video, or if you want to message me through system, you can do that. I do have to warn you though, do not pester me about it. I did have to actually get rid of a patron today for that reason. They got a little bit too much of a problem. It wasn't just the pestering, it was more details to it. They were being disrespectful to myself and other people's work, and just being an all-around jerk. So we had to remove them from the content, and I gave them their money back and said, not going to do it. Unfortunately for fans that are looking towards what comes out each week, that is actually the content that was supposed to come out this weekend. I'm going to be working on something different. I know I haven't done a Demon Blade filler. I might do that. But I might also do something completely different for people to enjoy. I haven't fully decided. It's literally something that went down a few hours ago. She has this sort of greenish black hair, or gray black hair. So we're going to work in that. I know she's supposed to be Hispanic, so we're going to work from there. We're going to give her some more Hispanic, maybe do the bottom of the bikini and the opposing colors of green and white. That would make the Mexican flag. Maybe. I don't know if she... Let's see. Let's reread her the comment. Let's see here. Okay, it is at a Mexican resort. So, yeah. Maybe we do have her do Mexican flag colors. So we do the red on the bikini top and the green on the bikini bottom. Maybe that is an option. All right. Let's put a pipe there. Giant chocolate chip cookie. Do some dark colors here. Her ear is kind of big, especially since she's got, I noticed something I just did that I made a mistake. So yeah, we'll fix that on the way. As always, mistakes are acceptable. You're always going to have them. So it's not a problem. That being said, we're going to do a layer right here, and we're just going to fix it this way. She's got bangs that go down and cover her ears, so she doesn't really have ears shown. So we're going to just kind of take care of that with a layer. And we're going to do the same sort of on the back over here. And for this side, I'm going to go ahead and close it off since it goes over there. For this side, I'm going to close it off with a color. And we're going to hit the color right here as well. And just sort of blend those two in. Okay, something else. Let's see, we're going to do the cheek on this side. Didn't do it. It looks kind of weird. And we got to deal with her hair. Let's see. Actually, now we got that fixed. Merge layer down. Come on. Wait on it to load. I'll drink my hot chocolate. Okay, so sorry I missed the explanation of this earlier, but is this commission or something you wanted to draw? Dining and Doodles is always request. So anybody wants something done on Dining and Doodles, which is just live. It's just a simple illustration, each done each week. Quick drawings, and they're all done by request. So this one is a request, just like every other week is. If there's not a request, I'll do a filler, but often, more than not, these are a way for people to get requests, because I've been getting a lot of people asking, hey, I'd like to have a request for something. Now, the reason I don't do comics is on Dining and Doodles is I don't have the time to dedicate to them. These are just meant to be nothing more than a quick 2-hour drawing session. And I mean, that's essentially what Dining and Doodles is. It was a way to sort of just appease some fans that have been asking for a long time. And it helps get my name and my art out a little bit more. So yeah, if you're new here, you haven't seen what I do before, I am a cartoonist. I do it at freelance for the most part. I have, oh crap. Oh, great. Okay, hold on. All right, no, good. I thought the system broke, or the crash. I thought I had a crash there for a second. I do this freelance. I do writing. I do other things, and I also am currently looking for work. So a lot of the time I've been able to dedicate as of late is because I've had nothing better to do. But I just love to tell stories. So I mean, honestly, I would be drawing and telling stories no matter what. I've done it before as homeless. When I was homeless, I was working from the street, literally working in a library during the day on a laptop, drawing and putting out artwork. And then I would go in my car and sleep at a Walmart at night. Yeah, Cooking Dojo, very cool. Always good to find ways, new audiences. I'm actually looking at commissioning a website. Yeah, I mean, websites especially, they take time. And actually, one of the things I hadn't really talked much about with people, if you note, I've not been pushing embryoarts.com as of late. Unfortunately, due to issues that have been beyond my control, it's likely embryoarts.com is going to be going down for a few months. And that is going to simply be because of financial issues. I hate to say it, 25 years of having run the website, of Embryo Arts, having to lose the website, and that this would be the second time I've lost the website. I still hold control of the .com, and I'll still be holding control of the .com. But the website itself is probably going to shut down, and that includes demonblade.com. Probably for about a month or two, while I try and get some financial situations straight with them. When it returns, I am going to be setting it up a little bit differently. Some old stuff's going to disappear, some new stuff's going to appear. And we're going to have a place where the videos for all the streams will be at least posting links every time. Hopefully there'll be more interactivity with our Discord and other things. Unfortunately, I run that all myself, so that takes a long time to do. In fact, when I've done updates to embryoarts.com, it took a lot of times months for me to get something straight, and it's partially because I had to code it. I started out as one of the first people in my art school that learned coding, and I came out knowing stuff that is now mostly obsolete. So I've had to teach myself coding. I've had to teach myself art for the most part. Even though I came from an art school, I still had to teach comic art, learn comic art on my own. Even though it's popular, it's not taken credibly by art schools, and that's kind of sad. I think they do better these days. I keep trying to do that on the wrong layer. I am kind of sad to see that Embryo Arts is going to go black for a little while, but it is something that I regret that I'm going to have to do. And it literally just comes down to just the finances. Will that mean I'll stop doing anything like Demon Blade or anything like that? No. No, Demon Blade still has multiple sites. It's been getting more and more attention each week. Other series like our... Did I do all that color layer on here? I sure as heck did. Other series like our Isekai that we're doing is gotten some attention from other series sites. In fact, it's been requested on some sites. It recently went up on Amazon for a noveletta, but we're going to have to probably take it down from a noveletta to put it on as a book because they have an issue with the third chapter being released. And the only issue they have there is because it's already published elsewhere. So if you want to read chapters 1 and 2 on your own, they are available through Amazon right now. But they are going to be out for a limited time, I think. Unless I can convince Amazon to do otherwise, which they have every right to tell me, screw it. Demon Blade, of course, is on Amazon as well. I need to put Chapter 7 on, or issue 7 on. And what's been holding me back there is I've been trying to do book 1. for release of the new series. The older series is still available. But book 1 is coming out, and a lot of that is me having to go back and make sure everything's properly edited. I'm probably going to redraw a few pages. Just not, well, a few panels on pages. So I mean, it's taking a little time to do that. But I mean, I'd love to hear. I know you're going through Wix, or trying to do Wix Cooking Dojo. I'd love to hear your experience with them. They've weren't a thing when I started embryarts.com. They are now, in fact, the company that I get Embryarts run through promotes them. But at the same time, I literally have had to build it from scratch. So I can't tell you much about what Wix does. And if I imagine their WordPress concept, which is fairly simple once you get the templates going, but the key is to get the templates going. I'm thinking of WordPress since I can do ad revenue on WordPress. Yeah, you can. It is an avenue to do. I'm starting to get some people that are wanting to do more ads. Of course, this video, as always, Dining and Doodles is sponsored by Built Bar. It's a good concept to sort of promote them right now. They, in fact, I just got a notice from Built Bar a few days ago. They have a limited supply right now of their cookie dough. I have not tried their cookie dough yet. Let's see. I wonder if Angel Fire or Google Geosites is around anymore. Geosites is not. I don't know about Angel Fire. But having been a former Geosites user, embryarts.com's first few years were on Geosites. I've been using a company called justhost.com for years. They're probably one of the best that I've liked to use in the past as far as service. I can call them any day or night, and I've literally called them on Christmas Eve at like 4 in the morning. So I mean, they are there to answer the phone, and I'm happy. They're a great company. They keep their customers happy. But they will not put their site together for you. They're just a hosting site. But yeah, I'm not properly doing the Built Bar ad right now, simply because it's not time. I like to try and do that at the end. But yeah, they've announced cookie dough. So if you like cookie dough on your sort of protein bars, check them out. I have my own version of cookie dough. In fact, it's appropriate for this stream. In fact, I'm a little probably bite into it. Cookies and cream. So gives me that wonderful taste of Oreo. Love it. You got that dark, rich, chocolatey flavor, which is something I absolutely love. And I mean, I can't stop raving about them. They are something that I found about a few years ago. And literally back when I was working my last job, I would eat these for lunch. And they've raised as a company with good reasons because, darn it, they taste great. Let's make this building, just to add a little bit of color, let's do a red building here. Oh. All right, let's get back on her since we got a little bit of the background done. Let's focus on her bikini. Since it is a pattern, and it looks like the pattern kind of probably actually should move with the boob. Let's go right here. No, I've not eaten all the Built Bar before people ask. Still got part of it. That's richer than the damn chocolate. Chocolate I had. So rich, I'm going for water. I'm thinking I'm going to still do a pattern reflective an Oreo out of that, out of the building that she's eating. We also need to add shadows, and we're going to do her bottom. Let's see, one other thing to talk about, let's see, since I did bring up Embry Arts, it was something I've been trying to hide and I didn't want to talk about, would be the green lightning and an element of it. A lot of people, there are a lot of fans that like green lightning. I do want to keep doing green lightning. Now, those who don't know what green lightning is, it is our role-playing games. Years ago, I developed a Naruto RPG, a One Piece RPG, and a Fairy Tail one RPG. They have been play tested, they've been run. Lots of people out there have been fans of the series that I've done, and they want to see it come out some more. My main issue with going forward with that is licensing. What holds me back from doing too much work on that is because I am working on stuff on my own, writing and creating that concept, and I don't play much RPGs these days. So I don't have much to go off on with practice, and these are tabletop role-playing games for those who don't know. Green Lightning has had some great fan feedback, and I'd love to keep doing it. But as I said, licensing is going to be a killer, and I don't want to get cross with them because easily I can be shut down in multiple ways. The licensing of the D20 version concept rules, that's not the problem. The problem mainly lies in licensing of the properties, particularly with Toei and One Piece. Toei is a little bit more harsher these days with the licensing. So is Bandai, and pretty much Shonen Jump's not as harsh on them about it, but Funimation owning the rights to both Fairy Tail and One Piece in English, they kind of been playing a game that I have to question on if I'm on shaky ground or not with that. I'd love to get back to doing that stuff. If there's a call for the stuff, I'd love to keep doing it. I'd even get back to writing the rules if I had a financial reason behind it. But the main issue again is that and just interest. I have to have the interest to work on something like that on my own, like I've been. A lot of that stuff got written for like months at a time. It took a year, I think, alone to do the One Piece rules properly as they are now. The Naruto rules, the original Naruto rules that we came up with, took only about 2-3 weeks, and those were mostly time that I was again unemployed at the time, so I had nothing better to do. But I wasn't doing as much art as I've been doing these last few years. So I mean, the amount of requests, the amount of commissions, the amount of art I've been doing, just Demon Blade alone itself takes up about 6 hours a week on the work I'm doing both on and off from being seen. So I mean, most of the fan art that I do, especially like the Patreon weekly stuff, that usually takes about 3-4 hours. A commission, I'll usually give a little bit more time. This morning's commission didn't take long though, because the American style is a lot easier to imitate than Japanese style. When you have a lot more detail in characters, stuff like I did today, which was Galaxy Falls based comic, it's fairly easy to draw and get done with. I think it took me 3 hours to do that and completely. Mind you, the script was written beforehand on that one. The person specifically asked for what was written. I think I added 2 or 3 lines that I felt were kind of appropriate for the scenario. But given we were even mimicking a scene from the series, it was fairly easy because I mean I had references for the background, I had references for the characters in that scene, so it was easy to just go, woot, woot, let's create that. Whereas with doing with RPGs, writing them up and whatnot, it takes a longer time. I have to spend time actually play testing them. I have to make sure that there's a fair way to play it out, that there's not a way to completely cheese out a character using these abilities. Especially when you go into wilder things like One Piece. The one thing I will credit myself for in there is I do have probably the biggest definition of rules to play for a fruit user and choosing a fruit. So there's an efficient, if you go on to embryarts.com while it's still active and go into the RPGs, check out the One Piece RPG, you will see the rules for fruit users. It's also the rules for shipbuilding and stronghold building, which took a long time to do. Other rules such as the collection rules, the chemistry rules that I put together, those were dreamed up to do and have been taking a long time. And other companies have come out since, probably with better, I haven't been able to play all those scenarios, but probably better versions of the same rules. And the reason you wanted that is kind of just to get a good feel for the environment, to have, and Green Lightning's whole concept is to create an environment that players have more input in what their characters like, and the GM has more control over that concept. So it being 800 and some pages long, it's, hell, it might even be 1,000 pages since I last looked at it, without even a full monster manual. It's long. Other things, I mean, 11 Kingdoms, I do plan to continue with 11 Kingdoms. I've been itching to write more story to it. That is coming back to Amazon soon. That's been an editing process for God knows how long. And I might do some read-throughs of that in the future. Let's see here. And we're going to do that there. All right, we're going to do a dark layer bottom. Ah, must be an empty spot there. And let's see here. We've got about 20 minutes left here from our usual setup. So let's do some more bits here with the background. Let's do a street. This is on a different layer. We'll do a street here. Well, hold on. First and foremost, let's eliminate our biggest culprit. Nope. Okay, there we go. Eliminate that. Now let's do on a new layer here. Oh, on clear here, hold on. Let's bring that there. Well, a little bit further. Into there. We're going to do a park that she's kind of sitting in. And I've got one more layer that I'm going to do in the background to fill. Let's see here. All right. I'm just gonna do that there. Well, it doesn't look right. All right, let's fix that. No, that's not right either. Let's do that there. Up. All right. This is probably going to go in the wrong spot for me. Yep. Okay. Undo. Let's bring her around. This is where our leaking spot. And bring that back over here. Okay. There's that. We'll do a small one. Oh, what the hell happened there? Why is it doing that there? That is weird. I don't have any idea why that's doing that there. Okay. It's acting up a little bit. For those who don't know what's going on there, for some reason I'm trying to put a line here, but for some reason it's coming up and jaggeding the line. So I'm just going to ignore that spot. And we'll just do that there. I'm going to put a big old white billboard, other layer. That billboard's going to be white. And I'm going to call it back to the 90s with this big old white billboard. I'm going to add some text to that from the 90s. But first, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do 2 more back layers. So 1 more there, 1 more there. First layer, we're going to do our sky. I think I did the wrong color blue here. So I think that's going to be teal. Yep, that's teal. All right, so we want this color blue. Going up. Well, waiting on it. There we go. All right. Do some white below that, just so I can get the sidewalks done here. And then we will do the next layer, which I have in artificial. This is where we're going to use our brushes. So this is going to be on the layer above. I think this is the city. Yeah, that's the city. we're just going to do a city silhouette in the background. So we're going to real quickly wait for it to load. That didn't go as well as I thought it would. All right, let's now you could do this through any other means. This is just a quick sort of, if you want something done to be quick, that's on the spot, you can get brushes that do this, especially with Clip Paint Studio. Okay, that's upside down. All right. Come on, undo. There we go. Why aren't these loading? All right, I don't know why that's not doing that. There we go. It just gives a nice little sort of background image to show in the background, so there's further city going beyond. Now we're going to put another layer between the building and the skyline, and we'll do some clouds. So we're just going to do some real quick clouds. And I'll do her hair a little bit also in a minute. But we'll just do... This is a nice little cloud brush that I've got. And one of the things I do like with Clip Paint is they have the materials linked up on their own through the app or through the program. You can go on their website and order materials. You can search materials. People can put up materials. So, I mean, it's community minded as far as the brushes. So there are all kinds of brushes that you can add. And everything I've shown you, both the skyline here and this cloud brush, are both community created. So these are not created by, I think it's Cellness. So it's not created by the people who do Clip Paint Studio. It is created by fans, for fans, and users. Let's do her hair a bit. And I mean, at this point, I can say, do I like this one? And this is growing on me. Last week actually took off. The Dining and Doodles took off. Oh, actually, Cooking Dojo. Pen and paper RPGs are fun. I actually turned dividend investing into a pen and paper RPG. Really? It's always a creativity, and one of the things I did with Green Lightning, and I probably, if I do go back to doing more work for it, I wanted to make sure that the hardcore system would be integrated into any play style, any type that people wanted to play. So if you want to do survival game, you could do those rules. If you wanted to do a pure comedy game, you could do that where no one died. And you could blend together. There's sci-fi devices to devices for fantasy world. The concept was to build your own playstyle, build your own game from the basis of the system. And it used what was basically the premise of third edition D&D. So I mean, there's elements of third edition of Pathfinder as it's still used these days, but there's also some new stuff in it. There was the job tiers, the skills, the stronghold building. I mean, you could literally create the most obscure, off the wall type environments in the game. There was even deeper rules for drug use, creating your own drugs, viruses, all that kind of stuff. I mean, when I did my work on that book, I was a little bit worried that I was getting on the FBI's watch list because I was looking up chemicals and bombs, um, chemicals and weapons to do research on. But I tried to specifically leave out certain chemicals and certain creations. I was not using stuff like the Anarchist Cookbook. I was not using stuff like that, but I was using chemical breakdown and whatnot, and my combination of what I remember from science and chemistry of what would come into play in the game. And I mean, it worked. A lot of people. I got a lot of good acolytes from people in shipbuilding, particularly in One Piece, and power building, so people could create their own powers, their own abilities, their own spells. And I mean, that's where I wanted to focus because I mean, it kind of answered the big question of, I want to do this. How can I get this to do this? That's what the whole design was for Green Lightning. Um, we're gonna do some blending here because I want to make her look a little bit better than I have. Um, she's a bit rough, I'll say that much. I can tell I'm getting tired. I've been up since 6 doing drawings today, so with the brief exception of a few about 2 hours of trying or well, 1 hour of trying to get Valheim to work, and 1 hour of trying to get Valheim set up. So, and I mean, it looks like a fun game. It's just, it's an alpha or a beta game. I have another beta game in the lineup, which I may add to the gaming stream. That's almost equally as rough. I have not checked to see if they had an update since I've last played it. The only thing that keeps me from playing that on the stream is it's literally a two-hour game, as it is with the alpha. Okay, let's see here. Let's do the blending. We're gonna go with a smaller brush here, just like we do with makeup. We're just gonna do a slight blend of the shadow. Well, crud. I missed that spot. There we go. I've been watching a couple other anime. Today I think I've been zoning out to just Rama One Half because it's been a long time since I've watched it, and I didn't watch all of it because I used to. That was one of the ones I paid a hell of a lot of money for in the past. That was pretty much the one that cost me $30 for those 2 episodes, and that was only in one in sub or stub, depending on which way I bought it. I didn't get that option back in the 90s. I love the series. I have it now on DVD, but I've just been zoning out to it because it's on Funimation. Just let it play while I was working today. It's good humor, and I was surprised to see Viz was finally taking a cue and is finally releasing at least the Maison Ikkoku in paperback form, which is another one of Takahashi's series that I love. I wish they released the show, but kind of like Those Who Hunt Elves, it is kind of dated. It's a little older than Those Who Hunt Elves. Um, so, yeah, it's not exactly going to be accepted as much these days, which is regrettable. I think out of Takahashi's series, I feel it's better than Inuyasha on the romantic scale. But then I gave up on Inuyasha. Inuyasha to me was supposed to be a horror comedy, um, and she changed it over to a romantic comedy or romantic dramedy more than anything. I like the horror elements in it more than anything. Um, and I do find it ironic that a lot of the people back in college, when I showed them elements of Takahashi's work, were like, I've never heard of this person. Oh, I don't know what the series is like. And about 3-4 months after I'd done a report on her, because I wanted to do a college report on a cartoonist that most people wouldn't pay attention to. That's when Inuyasha hit Adult Swim, and yeah, it became a staple on Adult Swim for a long time. Do I think any other animes have really aged poorly that I used to watch? Love Hina, definitely. I regret Love Hina, and even as I'm drawing this, I've got that actually in front of me. Um, it was not a very good series. I'm gonna flat out say it. Love Hina, it was trash. Um, Tenchi, honestly, I actually will say Tenchi's kind of trash these days. Um, the story wasn't really good. The fact that they changed the story each and every season, um, that it just kind of just really made it hard to keep going into the series and watching the series as a whole. Um, and sadly, Demon Blade has its origins a bit due to Tenchi. The elements of the first basic elements of Demon Blade were created because of Tenchi and because of how I felt about Tenchi at the time. Um, but nowadays, it's yeah. I have no objection to say yes. Demon Blade is a basis off of Tenchi Muyo. Um, but at the same time, it's changed over the years. I've evolved that story, and Tenchi's still kind of. I mean, I've not watched the most recent show based off of Tenchi universe, but I have a feeling if it's anything like the previous versions, which it's kind of hard to not say. Um, Actually, that reminds me, there is something I've watched recently that I had to talk about. Evangelion. Finally finished the Evangelion series. And I mean all of it. I've now watched the Amazon movies. And I'm going to say a spoiler. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm going to talk about the end of Eva, aka Eva 3.0 plus 1, otherwise known as 4. It's 4. Eva 4. Okay. Gendo is an asshole. Let's put it that way. And that's not a big spoiler. Gendo is an asshole. He destroys the world because he can't accept his wife's dead. And Shinji's an asshole. I will say it. Shinji's an asshole. He created Third Impact because he wanted to have a hissy fit at his dad. Both of them are assholes. The ending still is a what the fuck moment. They did not settle anything from the instrumentality crap. So it is still a what the hell was Ido smoking when he created that? It makes no sense. We don't really know what the angels are, ever. We don't know, anything. In fact, we knew more in the TV show, I feel, than we did in this iteration in the movies. So, yeah. I'm not glad it's gone. I think Trash Taste got it right, where it's kind of like you just get this feeling from it of it's done. There will be no more Eva. There is an endpoint now, and so yeah, that's what I get from it. Am I glad that it's done? Kind of, but I still have a lot of major questions. Yes, I'm doing a Got Milk ad in the background. We're gonna change the font though. And that, I think I'm gonna go with, let's see if I can get down to wet paint. I still have a bit of this Built Bar left. I know it's 10 o'clock at night here, but darn it, I'll eat this Built Bar because I'm going to be doing some reading tonight. Where's my W's? Oh, we want that on black. We want to change that to there. Go over here, put that there. And I need to take care of that blue on the mouth teeth for her. And we'll do something with the eyes real quick. Those eyes are kind of deadpanned. I want to change them. So let's do something real quick with them. So we're going to real quickly no, did not want to do that. No. I'm trying to do this. Okay. Bring the pupil out. Select, deselect, hard. There we go. A giant woman, maybe around 500 feet. I don't know. I don't have a ruler. Well, I have a ruler, but I don't have a ruler for her. Giant woman towering over the building, eating a cookie factory. Nice little sort of quick drawing. There you go. That equals what we got. Can you draw the 7 reindeer eating carrot with Nico the reindeer? Not familiar with Nico the reindeer, but I will look it up. Draw 7 or Sven. Oh, Sven. Okay. The reindeer eating a carrot with Nico the reindeer. Yes, I will look up. So Sven from Frozen, I'm guessing. That's what you mean. Penny Stelly, or is it Seely? Penny Seely 88. I can certainly add that to the list. I will. In fact, let me write that down right now. So let me pull up a Word program. So I can make a note here. Just waiting for, apparently I have a bunch of Word files I didn't save. Here we go. Here we go. I'm guessing that's what you mean, Sven the reindeer. Yeah, okay. Now that would be in November. Start of November. It should be the first one in November. Penny Sully. All right, I've got it written down, so I'll add it to the list, and we'll do it. Yeah, first it should be the 1st of the November. Everything's set for October. There's going to be kind of a horror-themed one on the 30th, and I'm probably going to do a couple of these. Yeah, cool. Near Christmas. Yeah, absolutely. So until then, let's get to our final bits here. As you've been hearing, I've been raving about them all day during the stream. It's Built Bar. I absolutely love these things. They are low carb, low sugar, high protein, and keto friendly. And best of all, real chocolate. That deep dark chocolate, like I said, it was better than my hot chocolate. And I had it because I had very little sugar the last few days. So and heck, this very bar, let's see, a couple bars listed there. This very bar had 130 calories, 17 grams of protein, and 4 grams of sugar. So exactly what is on there with the caramel, but this was the cookies and cream, and it was absolutely delicious. I still taste it to this day. If you use the promo code EmbryoArts on their site, which is built.com, you can get 10% off your order. It is worth it. They come out with new flavors every pretty much week. They've even got the puffs out right now, which are one of my favorites. So if you like marshmallow and chocolate, get the puffs. And they have other items. They have immune builder drinks. They have all kinds of stuff. And everything they focus on is flavor-wise. So that's built.com/EmbryoArts. Inuyasha just went too long, in my opinion. Would have liked it better if they had changed up the villains instead of just yeah. Naraku was good, but when I got into it, I got into it when it first came out in a manga form. And the Peach villain was what really I held out in the series, and they played him out later in the series than he was. And he was more frightening in the manga, vastly more violent, vastly more frightening in the manga. And I loved him in there. You literally saw severed heads in his stomach, and they didn't really do it justice because they did the black blood thing in the anime, and it kind of just, and they toned it down. He wasn't as violent. The centipede lady wasn't as violent either, so I mean it's kind of down. I would love to see a darker tone in Yasha, but we never got that at the end. Even the new series didn't really go dark. It went another way, which I didn't like. But yeah, that's the end of the stream. I thank you all for tuning in. We will be back on Monday with our gaming stream. I don't know what I'm going to do. Might be Minecraft. Might be a change up and doing some Minecraft for a change. Who knows? It might be something completely different. I will be testing a few things out tomorrow, and I'm also going to release a new comic or something tomorrow in place of what was supposed to be for a Patreon, due to issues that have arose and we've spoken about. But we'll have something out tomorrow. Until then, I hope you all have a good day, a good year, a good week, and a good night.